Hey breadwinners, HummusThunder here, and today I am bringing a video a lot of you have been asking me about, and that is my top 5 SnD class setups to run, especially in the meta that we have today. These class setups are going to be for SnD specifically, so I'm going to be listing them from 5 to 1, 5 being the worst of the 5 and 1 being the absolute best gun, best class setup to run. One thing that I do want to say, I run Thermite and Stim Shot for almost all these classes, and I do run Specialist, which is going to include Double Time, Ghost, and Amped. The next 3 perks are up to your choice, but I like to run Quick Fix, EOD, and High Alert for the other 3 perks. So moving on to the class setups, let's go with number 5, and that is the M4A1. Now there are 2 variations of this class setup that you can build. We have one with the M16 Grenadier barrel, the Stippled grip tape, no stock, Commando foregrip, and 5mm laser. Or if you've been watching the channel for a pretty long time, we have the undisputed M4A1 class setup, which includes the Corvus Marksman barrel, tactical suppressor, no stock, Stippled grip tape, and Commando foregrip. Now, both of these class setups work. They're very viable in search and destroy. I like to run a knife as a secondary. Unless it's a pretty big map, then I'll run an AX50 or an HDR secondary with either a thermal sight or fully kitted out for ADS. And if I end up running snipers as a secondary with thermal sight, I do end up putting smoke grenades instead of stim shot as the tactical. Now moving on to the number 4 class setup, you might be a little surprised, but actually this is the MP5. Now the M4 and MP5 are 2 of my favorite guns to run, but this is going to be in the 4th place spot as the first 3 are very meta weapons. For the MP5 class setup, I have the 10mm rounds, the muzzle brake, stable grip tape, 5mm laser, and Merc foregrip. Now this right here is a super viable weapon to run in search and destroy. You see it every game, I know you do, and people like to run it with overkill, sometimes 725, but I like to run it with a knife only, just because I like getting to positions faster. When you pair double time perk up with the knife, you do get 8 seconds of tactical sprint. So with the MP5, the strongest ranges is close to mid. Now if you can get to a mid position fast enough with the knife, the MP5 will be able to lay out anyone who comes in front of you, unless they have a 725 or maybe even an MP7. Moving on to the number 3 spot, I actually have the MP7. Now, if you would ask me this 2 weeks ago, the MP7 and the MP5 would have been flipped, but the MP7 is such a viable weapon to use. It's so good. It has a fast fire rate, it has very little recoil. The only cons of the weapon is honestly the strafe speed when you're shooting. The mobility is very good on this weapon as well, which is why the MP7 is on the 3rd spot. If you can land your shot on upper body or head, you'll beam them faster than any other gun that you can use, honestly. Now if you shoot them in the leg or like stomach below, you're gonna end up losing the gunfight just because the strafing is really bad on this weapon. Fire rate, accuracy, that is no issue. You can beam someone honestly across the map if you want to do with the MP7. With the class setup that I'm using, I have Merc foregrip, no stock, mono suppressor, 5mm laser, and a stippled grip tape. This is what I choose to run. A lot of people like to take off the laser and put a 50 round mag instead. You can do that as well. I just like the laser for the hip fire and the sprint to fire speed. I love using this gun. I put a knife as a secondary so I can get to positions faster with double time. And honestly, this weapon can outgun even if you get shot first, if you can manage to snap and hit them all upper body to head. It's that broken. Now we are in the number 2 spot, and that is the Mini Uzi. This thing, you guys have used it before, you've seen my videos. I don't need to say much about this gun, but it's so good. And the class setup that I like to run on mine is a little different from other people's, but is the 41 AE rounds, the FSS Carbine Pro, Merc foregrip, Rubberized grip tape, and 5mm laser. And I do run the base Uzi. I don't run any special gunsmith variants because the iron sights are the best for the base model version of the weapon. Some people like to ask me why I'm not running the no stock on the Uzi instead of, let's say, Rubberized grip tape or 5mm laser. The problem with the no stock is it causes the iron sights to jostle way too much when you're aiming down sights. And yes, the movement speed is really good, and the ADS times are really good with no stock. I don't think it's necessary for the Uzi. Instead, I put the Rubberized grip tape on and the 5mm laser for the sprint to fire speed, and I have absolutely no issues mowing people down just because it's already a super fast weapon. So try out this class setup. If you don't like it, you can take off the laser and put on a no stock instead. Like always, I run this class setup with a knife, and I have no issues with it. So moving on to the number 1 class setup in search and destroy, that is the CR56 AMAX. Now some of you might be surprised, some of you might not be surprised. This gun is like a sleeping giant. It's a gun that people use, but not everybody uses, if you know what I mean. It's such a good AR. It's exceptional in medium to long range. Even close range, you could outgun most weapons besides like a 725, an MP5, or maybe even an MP7. The class setup that I run on mine is a no stock, Zodiac barrel, 5mm laser, stippled grip tape, and Commando foregrip. The 5mm, the no stock, and the stippled grip tape help from close to medium range gunfights, and the Zodiac barrel with the Commando foregrip helps sustain fire from medium to long ranges. And this gun is chambered in a 7.62 Soviet round. Almost every match I use this gun with, I will go either 10, 15, or 20 kills easily, and you guys definitely will be able to mow people down with this weapon using this class setup. I like to run, like I said, knife, double time, and I just run to mid, hold mid down, and just pick them off from there because it's that good of a weapon. You could definitely run a sniper as a secondary. You can run a pistol. Sometimes I run the M19. This is a gun that I don't know if they're gonna nerf. It might be a gun that's like the top of the pecking order of Modern Warfare, that's not super broken, but it's definitely the best of the best. It's not a gun that's causing a lot of headaches for a lot of people. It's just a gun that if you know how to use and you kit it out correctly, will outgun almost every other weapon in the game, respectively. But there you go, those are my 5 best SnD class setups. I left out the 7.25 cheese class setup that I like to run. You guys know, if you want to see that class setup, just do a quick search for HummusThunder 7.25. You'll see that video. There are other really good guns to use. By no means is this the end all be all of SnD, but these are the 5 that I like to resort to if I want to use meta weapons to get as much kills as I can in every match. I hope you guys did enjoy the video though. If you did, be sure to drop a like. I will catch you guys on my next video. Have a good day.